for alumni or alumni events or what?
Welcome into ACC Baseball Etc. presented by Pitch Logic, the system used by players, coaches, scouts, and instructors at all levels of play, from youth leagues to the big leagues. The easy-to-use and affordable technology makes the platform accessible to every player at every level. All the metrics, all the features used at the highest level. You can go to pitchlogic.com for more information. All right, we're back at it with our preseasoning conversations, talking to each one of the 14 ACC head baseball coaches in the lead up to opening day, which is oh so close. I'm Daron Vaught. Danny Graves is here as well, and we've got the head man in his new role at Miami, JD Arteaga. JD, good to see you. I hope the offseason's treated you well and that you're fired up for this season.
I'm fired up. I can't get here any sooner, man. We're about a week away. We got our first dress rehearsal this Saturday night for our alumni game. It's exciting times. It's exciting times all around the country. So I'm sure everybody's waiting for February 16th to can get here quick enough.
Are there nerves or anxiety or both?
Anxiety and nerves and excitement and just everything you can imagine. You know, it's like getting called in for you in the ninth inning, right? Coming into a game. It's a little bit of everything, and can't wait to get out there and do your thing. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, let me start here, JD. Since we haven't gotten the chance to speak to you in this like official on-air capacity since you got elevated to the head coach job, what was that like, and what's different for you now?
Well, it was nerve-wracking, right? It was about a 3-week period there that I was either going to have my dream job or possibly no job. So it was both extremes there. So obviously when I got that call that come see me at 8 a.m. and Dan Redikovich offered me the job, it was pure excitement and relief at the same time. So but since then it's been until the month of November, December, I didn't really notice too big of a difference. Normally as an assistant coach, that's the time you kind of settle down, catch up with a family, relax, and kind of charge your batteries for the upcoming season. I spent a lot of time, traveling, speaking at different places, raising money, going to Boston, going here, going there. So that was the first time I really, okay, it's a different role now, right? There's a lot more to it, off the field issues that you got to deal with and think about and take care of. So, but all in all, it's been great. It's been great. The staff that I've surrounded myself with is a great staff. I couldn't be happier. They're doing a great job, and just really letting them do their thing, So we'll see once the game starts, and I got to write out the first lineup. I've done it a couple times, and I can't read this out of the lineup, but I end up tearing it out, throwing it out and stuff. So it's gonna be it's the first time, so it's exciting, and we'll see how it goes.
Dude, I have so many questions, but I can't ask them all at once. There's so many things that I just need to know. First of all, congratulations. Obviously, I'm one of your biggest fans. And I mean, I begged for this to happen. I'm so glad that it happened. You deserve this. This dream job, I think players coming in are going to realize how awesome it is to be a part of this program now that you're the head of it. And that's not to say anything bad about the former guys, because we love them too. But I know you've been waiting a long time for this, JD. One thing, first of all, are you relieved of your pitching duties now, or are you still going to be that guy? And are you going to be coaching third base, or are you going to have somebody else coaching third base given the signs?
So I think relieved of my pitching duties is not the right way to say it. I mean, look, if I got to do the pitching and the hitting and everything, then I didn't hire the right guys. I think Las Gutierrez, bringing him in as a pitching coach, he's a guy that we have similar views and a vocabulary when it comes to pitching, right? We both pitched here at the University of Miami, learned under Laser Collazo, and we've been in contact over the years when he was with Boston as a scout, as a pitching coach in the summertime, and even when he was the what do you call it, the sports psychologist for them, performance coach in the Red Sox. He's got a pitching background, so a lot of the things that our guys are hearing, our returning guys, are very similar to what they heard from me. So. I still put my 2 cents in when I feel that's appropriate. But he's done a great job. As far as coaching third base, Darren Fenster, he was a third base coach for USA national team. He's done a little bit of everything in pro ball, from manager to hitting coach to infield coordinator, base running coordinator, outfield coach. He's done it all. And with our limitations with coaches, it's important to have a guy with so many, the background like that's well-rounded and can handle those things. So I'll definitely have my hand in some of the offense, but he'll run most of it. And I can signal things in whenever I want.
Finster, by the way, great hire. I raved about it when it happened. I love that for you guys, for him. That's just a wonderful fit. So glad to hear that he's gonna be the one waving people home, or yelling, "Hey, stop!" Either way,
hopefully waving a lot of guys home.
Yeah, love that. Well, JD, what was the? You talked about sort of like the head coaching, glad handing, fundraising elements of the offseason. That's like every head coach, right? Like that's how the role changes from pitching coach to head coach for anybody. In your particular circumstances, you're inheriting this team or staying with the team too, in a weird way. Like you're new, but not. Yeah. But you guys experienced a lot of losses in your lineup and the pitching staff. I mean, it was a lot of really, really key pieces. And if I'm not mistaken, the chronology with which you were hired sort of coincided with the transfer portal window. So it made the timing a little bit weird for you. I'm just curious how reloading this roster was for you on sort of quick notice as the new head coach.
Yeah, you're right. Look, the window, which we did not have a head coach, was the 3-week most important time of year, right? Right as soon as the season ends, there were some guys that we were on in the portal, and as soon as we didn't have a head coach, we kind of lost them all. One guy that we were on and we lost, he ended up going to Ole Miss. Ended up going there for the summer, wasn't happy. He transferred back to his original school. He ended up graduating from there, so he came to school now in January. JD Urso, a shortstop. But other than that, it's some of our targets, our main targets in June, we lost them all. So it was a tough situation. And going through the process, I made that clear where we got to make a decision because it's the window's going to close here pretty quick. And their response was simple. It's not a 1-year hire, it's a 10-year hire. So they want to make sure they made the right decision. They understand that this year might not be a great year, but look, we got some really talented freshmen coming in. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. Yes, we lost a lot of talent, but that's kind of the norm in college baseball, right? If you do a good job and you develop guys, it's kind of a 3-year window. For some of these guys, a 2-year window. So losing our third baseman, shortstop, first baseman, right fielder, our entire bullpen, 2 starters, it is what it is. But I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised with the players and the roster that you're going to see from us this year.
Well, not to jump too far ahead, but you mentioned Urso, JD Urso. He has to be related to Joe Urso, Sal Urso, the whole Urso family from Tampa. I grew up playing against and with those guys. That's a great piece to your puzzle. Obviously, do you know yet, like, if he's going to be that starting guy, or you don't want to say? I mean, the numbers that he put up at Tampa, Division II powerhouse, have been legit.
Yes, look, he's a baseball player. He's not going to wow you with his tools, with his speed or arm strength or power, but he's just a great baseball player. With our young roster, I wish that we had him all year, because I think our young guys would have learned a lot from him throughout the course of the fall. But just in the short 2-3 weeks that he's been with us, you just see a difference. It's a 21-year-old son of a coach, just knows how to play the game and just does things and thinks ahead. And he's another coach out on the field, so. Whether he's starting, he's going to get significant playing time. But I can tell you we have some freshmen that are very talented, but they're freshmen, so they're going to make their typical freshman mistakes.
Yeah.
But as far as starting lineup, he's very probable, but we don't have a set lineup yet.
Well, you've ripped a bunch of them up, so you don't have to say yet.
No.
Well, let's talk about a returning guy. Blake Sear has had already a really great career there at Miami. In what ways have you observed he has progressed even more so? And I mean, I would imagine he factors in a huge way, right? Like heart of the lineup guy. You guys are probably going to be leaning on him pretty heavily.
Yeah, definitely. He's obviously our best returning offensive player. Defensively, he's gotten better. He's worked hard at that part of his game. but it's gonna be a challenging year for him, and we've sat him down and talked to him, and he had a great freshman year, but he had a lot of protection last year with the yo-yos and stuff like that, and cases around him. So now you're right, he's gonna be in the middle of the lineup somewhere. He's gonna be the main guy that other teams are gonna try not to let him beat him. So it's a different challenge. He's gonna have to be more selective and not get himself out and things like that, which comes with experience. But I expect big things from him. It's a special bat. The ability to hit is something. To me, hitters roll out of bed ready to hit. You don't make great hitters. And he's one of those guys that just can really hit the ball, and he just continue to learn the game. And again, playing side by side with a JD Urso, I think is going to really benefit him a lot. So.
Can you don't have to go too far in depth, but you mentioned the newcomers and the pitching staff. Obviously, Gage Zeal is going to be the number one guy. At least that's what is being said. What about the new guys coming in and obviously you can't replace an Andrew Walters type, but
unless you want to, unless you want to come back and close for us again.
Well, I'll throw strikes, but it's only about 50 miles an hour, JD. So, but I won't walk anybody.
Important. That's important. We do have one other arm coming back that really, the first half of the season last year, he didn't pitch. Wasn't just not serviceable, right? And as the season went, he got better. Got a lot of quality innings out of the bullpen. He threw all 4 games in the ACC tournament, and then he ended up coming in against Texas and throwing 7 scoreless innings against Texas with Rafe Schlesinger, and you just see his confidence. I mean, he's just carried over. I mean, he's been outstanding this fall and spring. Kind of a funky low 3/4 sidearm left-hander up to 95 this fall, which is, I mean, I give Laz all the credit. He never did that for me. But he's really been lights out, man. So him and Gage are the 2 returning guys. We have a couple transfers. The junior college transfer, Herrick Hernandez, left-hander. He was, there's something to say, right? When you're the Friday night guy for any team at any level, it takes more than just stuff. I think it takes a makeup and a character to be that frontline starter. And he was that guy for Miami-Dade for a couple of years. And I can tell you, most of our guys don't even like playing catch with him. He's tough to catch, so he's tougher to hit. So he's a guy that you're going to see a lot of, probably in the starting rotation somewhere. And then you got, Drew Dwyer is a guy that's a Division III transfer. He's a 24-year-old, 7th year in college guy. Murray was a late guy that we picked up in the portal. It's kind of what was left out there. But he's a guy that might be closing for us. It's probably a lot more value in a close than there is in a 4 starter. So. Those are a couple of names that you're really gonna hear a lot from the pitching side, anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's use that to sort of move over to the lineup and talk about new faces, because there are going to be a lot there. Who, I mean, I think it's probably too many to just literally go through all of them, JD. But in your mind, who's going to factor in or should have those types of potential starter expectations that is going to be a new face to the Hurricanes?
Well, a new face is in a senior transfer is Lucas Costello. He's a local guy from Miami. He played left field, hit second for most of the season last year for Wake Forest. The thing about him, he hit just under 300 last year, but he didn't start playing until right around, the ACC play started. So he missed those first 3 weeks where you tend to pad your stats a little bit. And then, you kind of level off and start ACC play. So he missed those 3 weeks and still hit around 300. It's pretty impressive. Again, in a great lineup. I'm hitting second, playing left field. So you expect to see him somewhere out in the outfield. And really the biggest name is going to be a household name, right? It's going to be Daniel Cuvée. He's a really highly ranked freshman coming in. And I can tell you, I've been around this place for a long time, and not too many true freshmen I've seen, have the power that he has. And he's really advanced as a hitter and kind of a student of the game, which you don't see those too many around too often anymore. Just loves to be out here, loves to practice. First one here, last one to leave. Always watching video. He's a guy that really studies his craft, and he's a name that is going to be a household name very quickly around here, I think.
Yeah, Cuvée is somebody JD got to see a little bit on the USA Baseball circuit over a span of a couple of summers, and I think he was 16 at the time and hit just a massive shot at the primary field at the National Training Complex there, and just wowed everybody, right? It was just
it's impressive. The ball comes off as bad, and you would think is more swing and miss in there, but there's really not. It's really short, compact swing. And he's getting better and better at third base. So the interesting thing about this team is so many options, and really is not, from the first guy to the second guy in each position, that is not that much of a drop off. So it's going to be a fun team to manage, and different pieces you can move around. Antonio Jimenez is another very talented freshman. He's that guy that he makes plays on the field that no one else on your roster can make. So he's very talented. The bat's getting better on a daily basis, it seems like. So he's another guy that's definitely a big part of the future of the program. And maybe sooner rather than later, he'll be in that lineup and really contributing in a big way.
So I don't know if you guys can still see or hear me because my side is frozen, but I'm going to run with it here and hope that you guys could.
Frozen.
So JD, this is kind of off the kilt a little bit. I know I've known you for quite some time, and I think people that watch you from the outside see that you're a very calm and collected type dude. But when is the first time you're going to get thrown out of the game?
In the last 21 years, there's been plenty of times where I've wanted to, but I'm not. Morris never allowed me to argue or get thrown out, and same thing with Gino. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think umpiring's a tough deal, man. It's tough to keep everybody happy on the field. So, I think the better the pitching gets, and the more they're around the edges, the tougher it is for that umpire. So, we'll see. I mean, I'm not planning on it, but I'm sure it'll happen. As calm as I look in the outside. Anyone that I've ever competed against, they've never said I'm timid or quiet or calm. I'm as competitive as it comes. So
right. Well, just at least once before ACC play starts, please.
All right, I'll do that for you.
I'm going to ask something outside the lines as well of play. You succeed Gino DeMare. Very much in his own right, a Miami guy, right? You mentioned Coach Morris, Miami guy. You have had the opportunity to be an assistant on staff with some really great coaches as part of the Hurricanes baseball culture. How are you similar to those guys as a head coach now, and how maybe are you different? And is there anything that is specifically okay? This is a JD thing. We're going to do things. We're going to do this a little bit differently, and it's going to be a me thing.
Well, I think that obviously you can call Frazier a Miami guy. You call
for sure.
But they've all been different, right? Danny played for Frazier and Morris, and they could not have been any more different. Gino and Morris could not have been any more different. I think you compare myself to those other three guys, we could not be any more different. There's some certain things we're keeping, right? I mean, it's worked. You're not going to mess with success. And there's certain things that we got to tweak and improve on, right? If we're not changing and improving, then you're getting left behind. So we made a couple big changes. Our biggest change has been in the analytics world, right? I mean, we've always had all the equipment and all the cameras and everything that you spend all this money on it. But I was the analytic department, and so was, and then Lopez or Gino, and I was having trouble turning my mic on this morning, so I'm not getting everything out of it that I should, right? So, I mean, we made a conscious effort. We've invested money, and we have two analytics guys that's all they do. You see a difference already. It's we walk in the office in the morning, all the reports are on our desk, and we can put it to use, right? So that's a big difference. That when Coach Morris was around, it really wasn't a big part of the program of baseball, really. And then with Gino, we didn't take advantage of it. Like I said, we had all the equipment. We didn't use it as well as we should have. Now we've invested and have the guys running it and really putting it to good use. And we have one guy that's really focusing on our player development side, and we have the other one that's really focused on the advanced scouting side. And he's always working a couple weeks ahead of us. And so we come in on Tuesday morning in the office, and we're playing, University of Virginia. That report and everything is already on our desk, and we can prepare all week for Virginia. So that's a big change. But then there's a lot of things that we still keep around. Some of the picks we ran back in the 90s, Danny, that we still run them. They've worked, so why change them?
Yeah.
But as far as it is my thing, and as was Gino's thing for the last 5 years, and Morris's thing for 25 years, and Frazier's for 30 before that. So hopefully I'm up there somewhere around the Morris Frazier years, but. It's fun, man. It's fun, and a lot of things have stayed the same, and there's been a lot of changes. When you bring guys in like a Fenster and brings a lot of knowledge from the pro ball, and you bring in Rob Cooper, that's got 19 years of head coaching experience at Wright State, Penn State. You got to surround yourself with good people, and I think that's something that I've done. Like I said, I need all the help I can get. So I think I did a good job of surrounding myself with the best assistant coaches possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I don't know if you can answer this right now. It may be a secret, but do you have a certain style to how you're going to run the offenses? Are you going to be aggressive on the bases? Are you going to be station to station? You're going to have a ton of guys stealing all the time. Do you have a certain style yet?
I think the dynamic of your roster answers that, right? You can't go in with, this is what I want to do. If you don't have the players to do it, then it doesn't work. So offensively, we are going to be aggressive on the bases. Maybe not stealing bases, but we're going to put pressure on the defense. Just finding ways to win. The bottom line is scoring more runs than the other team, however which way that might be. I don't think we're going to hit 140 home runs like we did last year. So be a little bit of a different team. But I think that's going to change year to year. This year, next year, will be a different look, a different philosophy, and you have to coach according to your roster, or else it doesn't work.
We look, as well as anybody, having been with Miami prior to being the head coach at Miami, and having been with the program and been in the ACC and seen it. I'm curious what your sort of introduction into the head coaching fiternity in the ACC has been like. Did you have anybody from other schools reach out to you when you got the job? And, have those relationships, maybe grown and changed in different ways now that you're the head man?
Well, our meetings now are through Zoom. It would no longer we go and meet at, in Charlotte or Greensboro like they used to back in the day. So I did see some of the guys at the convention in Dallas this year, and I went to the Hall of Fame banquet with Coach Morris and O'Connor and Danny Hall. So I saw some of those guys walking around, but I haven't had the opportunity to talk to too many guys. I did get a lot of congratulatory texts. The day I got the job, I think I did a pretty good job keeping up for the first 30, 45 minutes. And then when I came back, it was like 300 texts, and there was no way to catch up. So I missed a lot of those. I still run into people saying, "Hey, man, I texted you. I never heard back." There was just no way. I didn't, to keep up with. So, I've been in the league for a long time, so guys like Dan McDonald that's been in the league for a long time as well, and Danny Hall, I talked to most of those guys.
Darren, just to let you know, JD did get back to me that day. So
you must have
just thrown it out there.
Text me earlier.
I caught him in the first 45 minutes, so I was good.
Yeah, you were so amped up, right? Like you weren't going to wait. You weren't going to hold off on it. You were just going to –
Dude, I don't know if you guys remember, if you even saw it. It was towards the end of our actual shows when I was going up to Bristol, and I made a plea on the air that these guys need to hire JD Arteaga. I don't even know how exactly I said it, but I said it. I'm like, they need to do it.
Well,
they did it.
Somebody gave me a heads up that you were going to do that. So yeah, I was at home. We watched it, and it was exciting. And I appreciate that always, man. So I did watch that live when you did it.
Awesome. One of your biggest fans here. I always have been. So.
And I'm a fan of yours. You saved a lot of games for me my freshman year. So I learned a lot from you on and off the field, Danny. Not all good. Not all from you.
Well, we've taught each other a lot, obviously, and I'm going to learn a lot more from you too. Being in this head role right now, I'm so excited for you, man. So what has it been like to? Just to have the thought of that. I know you kind of been talking about it, but has it really sunk in? This is you're the head coach. This is your dream job, dude. Has it sunk in all the way?
Probably not. I've said it before. I'm so blessed. This is the only job I've ever had in my life, right? I wore this uniform in college for 4 years. I played pro ball for 6 years, and I was in spring training when Jim Morris, basically offered me the job. Said the job is yours if you want it. If you don't want it, then I'm going to open it up and interview some guys. So I went from throwing a bullpen in Surprise, Arizona on a Monday to on a plane Wednesday to come home for practice one day. And then Thursday we're flying to Tennessee to play the Volunteers. And I'm calling pitches. I didn't know the signs back then. So the love ladies are volunteering. I'm telling him what to throw, and he's sending the signs in. So, and I've been here ever since. I'm just blessed, and there's no place I'd rather be than here. So has it sunk in yet? No, to answer your question. Every day I wake up and I'm just still thankful for the opportunity, man. And I just hope to do great things here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. With that in mind, can you even take a guess as to when you think it'll just sort of sink in? Do we need to get into games for that to be the case? And then you almost sort of forget it, right? You almost sort of forget you're new at this, and or new using air quotes,
Well, I just think that the excitement every morning waking up and realizing, man, you're the head coach. I think that's what is important. Once it becomes you're numb to it, then it's it should never get old. Anything you're doing in life should never get old. So I can tell I'm very excited to get to work every day. And I still, on occasion, I walk in the office and make a right instead of a left. This was an office that when I was in school here, I never wanted to be in. I mean, that was probably in trouble. So it's pretty cool to walk in here now. And it's just so exciting. It's I guess when I walk out with the first lineup and hand that first lineup and go over the ground rules that first game, there aren't too many things that I have not done in baseball. That's one of the things I haven't. So that's something that maybe then it'll sink in. I don't know. Hopefully when I retire from coaching here, 10, 15 years, that's when it'll sink in. I'm just excited every day.
That's so awesome. Well, speaking of not wanting to be in that office as a player, don't say any names, but how many players have you called in already in your first couple months?
It was a good fall semester when it comes to those things. It's a group of guys. They're working hard, and again, it's just the excitement of the first year of everything, right? So far, there's been a handful. They're still 19 to 22 years old. So
yeah,
but it's been pretty good so far.
Is that hard to remember that they're still just kids, basically?
It takes a second, but I got a 9-year-old at home too. That they're kids and they're going to do those things. So, but it's just great. That's honestly the most rewarding part of this whole thing. And over the last 21 years, is playing that role in these young men's lives, right? And seeing them come back, because now been around so long that now they're starting to come back with their kids and introduce to their kids and telling when you hear them tell their son, hey, this is a guy that taught me everything about life, and that's the most rewarding part. I might have, you can count the amount of big league pitchers that I've coached, and maybe two hands, but the amount of men and husbands and it's just fathers, that's the great part about the whole thing.
JD, before we let you go, is there anything we haven't touched on that you think fans need to be aware of with this team coming into this year? Is just, I'm going to give you the floor. Is there anything else?
No, we're going in, I guess, not without very high expectations, not ranked, but like I told the team, the preseason rankings is what other people think of you. That last ranking is what you earn. So we're going to go out and earn what we feel we deserve, and I think we're going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, you've got fans in Gravy and me. We couldn't be more excited for you. We're excited to see this team and see the next step in your personal journey begin as the new head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. Excited for the season to start, generally speaking, obviously, as we all are. JD, appreciate the time, and we'll catch up again soon here once we get rolling with games.
Thank you, guys, man. Appreciate it. And Dan, you got to get down here for alumni weekend one of these years, man.
I know, I do. Now that you're there, I for certain will. I promise you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, JD. Appreciate it.
Thanks, JD.